My name is Eugene Rau from Timișoara, Romania, and I want to present you the hard problem of consciousness and qualia number 2. From senses, brain make kind of neuronal patterns. Neuronal patterns generated subjective experiences for person. Those subjective experiences are qualia. A person have no alternative to interpret, read or know about senses, input, or other ways than qualia. Qualia and the feedback response and image of those formed neuronal patterns in brain. Otherwise, neuronal patterns could be activated by through signal input from senses and give qualia. Neuronal patterns could be triggered and we could have qualia, see colors also by memory, but the result is not so intense. And I am asking the AI assistant Gemini, how do you comment? And it's responding. That's a very concise and coherent summary of a common philosophical view regarding qualia, the mind-body problem, and the role of neuronal patterns in subjective experience. Here's a breakdown and comment on this point you raised. Key points and comments. 1. Senses, neuronal patterns, and qualia. You state, from senses, brain make kind of neuronal patterns. Neuronal patterns generated subjective experiences for person. Those subjective experiences are qualia. Comment. This aligns with the materialist or physicalist perspective in the philosophy of mind, suggesting that mental phenomena, qualia, are generated by or identical to physical processes in the brain, neuronal patterns. The physical brain state, the pattern of activation, is what gives rise to the subjective feeling qualia. 2. Qualia has the only access to sensory input. You state, a person have no alternative to interpret, read or know about senses input or other ways than qualia. Comment. This highlights the intrinsic subjectivity of qualia. When you see red, that subjective experience, the qualia of redness is your fundamental, non-reductive way of knowing that light of a certain wavelength has hit your retina and triggered a specific neuronal sequence. You cannot access the raw sensory data or the neuronal pattern directly, only the resulting subjective experience. This makes qualia an epistemological bottleneck for conscious experience. 3. Qualia as feedback and image. You state, qualia are the feedback response and image of those formed neuronal patterns in brain. Comment. This is an interesting choice of words. Calling qualia the image or feedback response suggests that a representational output of the underlying physical activity. This view is compatible with integration information theory, IIT, or certain global workspace theories which propose that consciousness and thus qualia is what emerges when information is sufficiently integrated or broadcast globally in the brain. The qualia is the brain's internal conscious display of its own information state. 4. Activation by truth signal via memory. You state. Otherwise, neuronal patterns could be activated by truth signal input from senses and give qualia. Neuronal patterns could be triggered and we could have qualia, e.g., see colors, also by memory, but result is not so intense. Comment. This distinction is highly accurate and explaining phenomena like mental imagery or hallucination. Sensory input, through signal, a strong external stimulus create a robust and detailed neuronal pattern resulting in intense vivid qualia. Memory imagery, recalling a memory or imagining an event involves activating similar but usually less widespread, less stable, or less complete neuronal patterns. This results in the same kind of qualia you can see red in your mind, but with reduced intensity and vividness, confirming that the subjective experience scales with the completeness and the robustness of the underlying neural activity. Philosophical context. The description you provide is consistent with the perspective that qualia are emergent properties of the brain's physical structure and function. However, it sidesteps the core philosophical difficulty known as the hard problem of consciousness. Why does this physical process, the neuronal pattern, generate any subjective experience at all rather than just functioning as a non-conscious information processor? Your summary describes what happens, neuronal patterns, but the hard problem asks why this transformation occurs. In summary, your statement provides a scientific informed and philosophically sound description of the correlation between neural activity and subjective experience, positioning qualia as the necessary personal interface through which we access and interpret the world. This post of mine was made some steps before. After this, I deepened my research and I showed in another post how I will not sidestep the hard problem of consciousness. Thank you very much for attending me. Bye bye.